You see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order. On. Ready. Face. Forward. March.
Please be seated. Welcome our newest deputies, bid farewell to those who've finally reached retirement, and recognize staff members who, for personal achievements and have gone above and beyond the call of duty to save lives. Before we go any further, I would like to introduce one of our merit board members, Mr. Tim Klingler, to say a few words.
Good morning. On behalf of all members of the Merritt County, or the Vanderburgh County Sheriff's Office Merit Commission, I want to welcome you here this morning. Thank you for turning out. This is not the best weather for getting out, but it's an important occasion. It's a very, very important occasion. The sheriff and the chief have placed a great deal of emphasis on having these programs to showcase the accomplishments of our sheriff's deputies. They go above and beyond the duty every day. I mean, it happens every day. And it's only rightful that we should recognize those accomplishments, and this is our opportunity to do that today. We also have two new deputies coming on this morning. I had the pleasure of teaching them search and seizure law yesterday. Let me tell you, these guys, they're impressive. The sheriff's office continues to get extremely qualified applicants, which is so very, very important for this agency. It's for the people of Vanderburgh County. It's important. So without further ado, thank you for attending this morning. Thank you for supporting everyone up here in their careers, whether they're starting or whether they're winding down. Deputies, let me just say this. Thank you for stepping up to the plate to take on this position as a deputy sheriff. It's not easy. It's never been more difficult. It's never been more challenging. But you'll also find it's never been more rewarding. So we're happy to have you on board. So thanks to everyone for being here today. Enjoy this ceremony. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Tim. It's my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies this morning, the Sheriff. He's now midway through his first term, and in that time he's achieved not only the goals he promised through his campaign, but has also gone further to significant advancements for Vanderburgh County. Among his accomplishments are the implementation of the jail expansion plan. He's worked with local government leaders, community leaders, with a plan to reduce crime, address mental health needs, and allow individuals to rejoin society with a better prospect of gainful employment and sustainable housing. He's also established our community engagement program. This is the first of its kind within the office. This program assigns deputies to specific neighborhoods, encouraging direct communication with residents and neighborhood associations. By fostering these relationships, deputies and citizens now develop a mutual understanding, allowing residents to feel more comfortable discussing issues that impact them in their own backyard. His dedication to this community is on display every day. It's an honor and a privilege to introduce the Sheriff of Vanderburgh County, Noah Robbins.
It's a running gag and never gets old to adjust the mic after the chief uses it. Can everybody hear me in the back there? And my voice doesn't project, so I'm grateful for the microphone. Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you all could make it. Thanks for Evansville Watch for being here and streaming this bad boy live. So hopefully we'll try to put on a good show. Let's see where we are. I wanted to recognize a few folks who are here in attendance. The first of which on my list is our newly elected clerk, Dottie Thomas, who is here to swear our deputies in. Additionally, we have, we'll hold the applause till the end there. Mark Hartman is here from the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute. We've gotten millions of dollars over the years from the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute to help pay for our traffic enforcement, and Mark Hartman has been a big part of that, and I'm pleased to have him here today. Reverend Steve Brown is here, I believe, who is on our merit board and also provides us services within the jail ministering to our inmates. We've got special guest Mike Gannon from the Drug Enforcement Administration. He's joined us here today. You've already met Tim Klingler, our merit board president. Councilwoman Jill Hahn is here, who is instrumental in making sure the Sheriff's Office gets the funding it needs to meet its mandate. Our prosecutor, Diana Mers, who, like me, is 2 years into her first term, she's here and has been an absolute joy to work with. Her office is doing wonderful things, and our partnership with the prosecutor's office has never been stronger, in my humble opinion. Her second-in-command, Winston Lynn, also joins her. I saw Chad Grease, former deputy, as well as former Major Rodney Buchanan is here in the audience. I thought I saw Justin Elpers, our commissioner, here in the background somewhere. He's right there. Justin, thanks for being here. And oh my gosh, it's Mike Gable, a fellow commissioner here as well. Thank you for your presence as well. And then I saw Chaplain Steve Russ, who provides chaplain services to our Sheriff's Office. He's in attendance as well. The Sheriff's Office has a lot of friends, and they're here today, and I'm honored to have them present with us, supporting our office once again this year. Give them all a round of applause for me if you could. We are our second term now, second year of the first term. We have made a lot of progress, as the chief alluded to, but it's not my progress. It is the entire office's progress. We are moving forward towards a revitalized and revamped jail. The jail doesn't really resemble the old way of operating anymore. We used to do a good job in that facility, and under the command of Captain David Getling, the jail is doing now a great job. There are more advancement opportunities than ever before in that jail. You're going to see a lot of folks here in green shirts. They are receiving awards and recognitions as well. They are every bit the equal to our sheriff deputies in the job they do every day, and they are now being recognized and rewarded financially as well they should have been for all these years of service they've given to our office. And I'm so pleased that our agency is now stronger together, and we've broken down those barriers that have always separated the sheriff deputies from the confinement officers, and now we are truly operating as one unit. And those folks are getting their long overdue due, and I'm pleased to have help make that happen in some small way. But the credit really goes to the folks that work in that jail every day of making this happen. Jail expansion, and we will soon be able to recall in 2026 all the inmates that we have that are being lodged in outside facilities. We will bring them all back here to Vanderburgh County and consolidate our operations, saving money and improving outcomes. I'm so excited that the mental health unit is coming along. We will, by the end of March, have a mental health unit operating in the jail, despite the fact that we won't have an actual unit, a room for them to operate out of. We will have them operating within the jail to prepare that unit to go live in 2026, where we'll have 10 beds dedicated only to mental health and competency restoration. Exciting things on the horizon. I look forward to sharing them with you throughout the remainder of 2025. But we're here right now not to talk about what I'm planning on doing, but to recognize the accomplishments of our sheriff deputies and our confinement officers. And so with that, I'm going to take a quick drink of water here, and I want to call up our first awardee, which is Staff Sergeant Andrew Hicks. Fall weather gets my throat every time. I don't know how you made it to the national anthem there, Mr. Duncan. No way I could do that without coughing. Staff Sergeant Andrew Hicks was awarded the promotion of a rank to Staff Sergeant on this 25th day of October. We're awarding it to him, or recognizing him now for it. Andrew Hicks has done a wonderful job in the jail, and I'm pleased to award him with this certificate. Sir, thank you. Up next, we have Dustin Farr. As you may have guessed, award ceremonies are awards and promotions are a big part of the Sheriff's Office culture. It's a kind of a quasi-military organization, and so achieving rank is kind of a big deal. And Dustin has earned this rank through a promotional process that we now have, in which your peers and commanders interview you for promotion, and that way we select those for promotion who are truly most qualified and have earned the respect of their peers. And Dustin is one of those as well. Dustin, please come up here. Up next, we have Confinement Officer Addison Stout. She's been awarded the distinction of Confinement Training Officer. It's my goal by 2020, mid-2025, to have a corporal's rank within the Sheriff's Office. We already kind of got ahead of ourselves a little bit with them put the patch on their arm. But the idea being that we will encourage folks to pursue professional excellence and be rewarded for that endeavor by receiving a promotion. And so Addison is one of those folks who was, again, chosen by her peers and supervisors for the distinction of being a training officer, and we're going to recognize that here today. Addison? Sheriff had 2 cappuccinos this morning. I'm not sure if anybody could tell, but normally I don't do that, but he's my wire of the day. Up next, we have promotion for Jared Payne. Jared Payne has also earned the admiration of fellow confinement officers and is receiving a recognition of his promotion to confinement training officer. Jared, please step up. Confinement officers wear beards in the jail now, and Jared's a pilot program for that. All right. So, we don't just recognize sheriff deputies and confinement officers for their work. Occasionally, we recognize members of the community. This one is long overdue, and I think I've got a few remarks to read about Jessie here and what she has done. So, this is Jessie Hewig. I'm saying that correct. Hewig? Haywig. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. I always just call you Jessie.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this so you know why she's up here. Jessie is a veterinary assistant, and she has become very familiar with our canine unit. And if you don't know, this is a canine. In fact, there's 3 of them. They're well-behaved canines for the most part. Just don't make eye contact with them. You'll be all right. I'm joking. So as you can see, Jessie here has a pretty what I would call a deep connection to the Sheriff's Office in providing service to our canines. But that didn't end. Her service to our canines didn't end when she completed her shift at work. She noticed that there was a gap in protection to our canines, and a lot of the dogs did not have ballistic vests. You'll see one of our dogs wearing a vest right now, the one on the your far right, stage right there, wearing one of these ballistic vests. So she began to raise money to pay for these ballistic vests for these dogs. She started a fundraising organization called Ballistic Buddies, and the Vanderburgh County Sheriff's Office has been a recipient of 8 of these bulletproof vests for our canines. And so for her dedication and generosity, we thought it appropriate that the Sheriff's Office publicly recognize Jessie with a small token of our appreciation and gratitude. So I'm awarding her the Citizens Appreciation Award. Jessie, would you come forward and accept your... Sheriff's Office Challenge coin there.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for what you've done for us.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Sheriff's Office random caffeine thought here. I'm looking around this room. If anyone noticed a lot of folks here work at the Civic Center downtown, and you go in a building like this, and they truly don't build them like they used to. I would use the restroom facilities here. The bathroom stalls are marble. They just don't make them like that anymore. So I thought I'd remark about that. If you're here, take a tour. It's a really neat building, and it's definitely a travesty that we can't build structures like this anymore. But it's an honor to be in this building with the history that it has. So I encourage you to take a tour while you're here. But we've got a few more recognitions to get through here, not the least of which is Deputy Tobin Riney. So on May 2nd of 2024, Deputy Fuller and Deputy Reiner responded to a medical emergency within the courthouse. Tobin is kind of a fixture down there in the courthouse, and you've probably seen him there at the front door if you've ever visited. So an individual was in the courtroom and initially believed to be having a seizure and was unresponsive. But that initial assessment was incorrect. Deputy Fuller retrieved an AED while Deputy Riney began performing life-saving measures. The individual was revived and stabilized by Riney until the arrival of advanced medical personnel. As it turned out, the individual was having a massive heart attack, and the aortic valve had been blocked by 99%. And so thanks to decisive actions taken by Deputy Riney performing life-saving measures, he saved the individual's life. And Deputy Riney was unable to be recognized in an earlier ceremony, but we want to make sure because he's on vacation, we want to make sure we recognize him here today. So for that, I'm awarding Deputy Tobin Riney the Sheriff's Office Lifesaver Award. Pardon me. Why can't we have these things in the summer? Up next, we have Deputy Lindsay Bean, and she has, I believe, a guest with her today. And Mark, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you're willing to walk up here, we'd be honored to have your presence. This doesn't happen all that often, and we are extremely grateful that Mark Wright could be with us here today, because it's not often that the individual whose life was saved gets to be present for the award ceremony, awarding that deputy or that officer with a life-saving award. So a little backstory. On October 24th of last year, School Resource Deputy Lindsay Bean, to my left here, was at West Terrace Elementary School giving an internet safety presentation to the 5th grade students when the principal called for her to come outside. A pickup truck, they received multiple calls from the pickup line stating that there was an erratic driver outside of the school. No offense, Mark. We understand what happened to you. The principal advised that he had found the vehicle in question west of the school building near the baseball field. Deputy Bean arrived and found that the vehicle had been driven off the roadway between the bleachers and a fence, coming to rest against the dugout. The driver was recognized to be a grandparent who routinely picks up his student there. The driver was disoriented and confused, and so Deputy Bean opened the door and leaned across the driver and placed the shifter in the park, and recognized that the condition of the driver was pretty severe. And Deputy Bean summoned medical personnel and medics to assist, and the patient was transported to the hospital, suffering from extreme dehydration caused by an undiagnosed infection that, if left untreated, could have proven fatal. That individual, Mark Wright, stands to my left here, joins us here today and wanted to be present for this to thank Deputy Bean for her actions, as well as the other medics on scene that intervened in this emergency. So it is my pleasure to award Deputy Lindsay Bean a Sheriff's Office Lifesaver Award, and to let her talk to Mr. Wright here today, who I'm sure is grateful for her actions that day. Yes, sir. The certificate and
Okay,
get a picture with her.
sure will.
That might be appropriate. Thank you. Up next, we have a lot of lifesavers. When you're out and about patrolling, these things kind of happen. And as much as we love our friends at Suburban Fire, just because we're out there and about, we often beat them to the scene. In this case, there was no scene to respond to. Deputy Matt Gardner created the scene, and in a very good way, and I'll explain. He was working impaired driving enforcement, which you now might suspect why Mark Hartman is here from the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, which funds our DUI enforcement. So Matt Gardner was working overtime in the area of Southeast 3rd and Cherry Street. And he stopped a vehicle that he suspected was impaired, a driver that was impaired. But upon contact, he noticed the driver was experiencing some kind of medical issue. And so he quickly switched gears and called for the Evansville Fire Department and AMR paramedics to respond. And while they waited, the driver's condition worsened, and Gardner repositioned the driver on the ground and began basic life-saving measures. The fire department arrived and assumed control, and the driver eventually received multiple shocks from an AED prior to being transported to the hospital by ambulance. The treating physician described the situation as a massive heart attack or a massive cardiac